Good evening, and we need to talk about something absolutely shocking that has just emerged from Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. This revelation is going to leave you stunned because it exposes a level of desperation and moral crisis that many of us never imagined could exist in our society. According to fresh reports published today, the National Security Advisor has disclosed that some Nigerians are now staging their own kidnappings and using artificial intelligence voice cloning technology to extort money from their own families. Yes, you heard that correctly. People are faking their own abductions and using AI tools to create convincing distress calls that sound exactly like them, all to deceive their relatives into paying ransom money. The National Security Advisor made this disturbing revelation while addressing the worsening internal security situation in Nigeria. He explained that the kidnapping crisis facing the country is no longer just about armed criminal gangs terrorizing innocent citizens. According to Ribadu, security agencies have now uncovered numerous cases where the supposed victims were actually willing participants in the crime. These individuals collaborate with friends or acquaintances to create elaborate fake kidnapping scenarios, all designed to squeeze money out of unsuspecting family members who believe their loved ones are in genuine danger. Ribadu did not mince words when he described the situation. He stated clearly that we are dealing with a population that is actively informing kidnappers and even going as far as arranging to kidnap themselves to collect ransom from their own families. He shared specific examples that security operatives have encountered during investigations. In one case, a young man arranged with his friends to stage his own kidnapping so that his father would pay the ransom. Can you imagine the level of betrayal involved in such an act? A son deliberately putting his father through emotional trauma and financial stress just to get money. But what makes this entire situation even more disturbing is the technological dimension that has now been added to these fake kidnappings. The National Security Advisor revealed that perpetrators are now using artificial intelligence tools to clone voices and create distress calls that sound frighteningly authentic. These AI voice cloning applications, which were once only accessible to tech experts and major corporations, are now widely available online. Some of these programs can create a realistic voice clone from just a few seconds of audio recording, which means that anyone with a smartphone video or voice note can potentially become a victim of this type of fraud. Ribadu explained how these schemes typically work. The person staging their own kidnapping will arrange everything with accomplices, then use AI technology to generate voice recordings that mimic their natural speech patterns, tone, and emotional delivery. They will say they have been kidnapped, make desperate pleas for help, ask for ransom money, pay themselves when the family delivers the funds, and then mysteriously reappear days later with some fabricated story about how they escaped or were released. The families who have been put through unimaginable emotional torture often have no idea that their loved one was the mastermind behind the entire operation. This revelation raises serious questions about the state of moral values in Nigerian society today. What drives a person to inflict such psychological trauma on their own parents, siblings, or spouse? The National Security Advisor pointed to economic hardship as one of the underlying factors pushing some individuals to consider such desperate measures. With unemployment rates remaining high and inflation continuing to erode purchasing power, many young Nigerians feel they have exhausted all legitimate options for making money. However, as Ribadu himself emphasized, economic challenges can never justify this kind of heartless criminal behavior. The National Security Advisor also highlighted another major obstacle in the fight against kidnapping, which is community complicity. He explained that many kidnapping operations succeed because insiders within communities provide critical intelligence, logistics, and safe cover for criminal activities. When neighbors, family members, or community leaders actively aid kidnappers or choose to look the other way, it becomes extremely difficult for security agencies to respond effectively. Ribadu stressed that Nigerians must begin to see security as a collective responsibility rather than something that only concerns law enforcement. Security experts are now advising Nigerian families to take proactive steps to protect themselves from this new wave of AI-powered fraud. One recommendation is for families to establish secret code words or security questions that only genuine family members would know. This way, when someone receives a suspicious call demanding ransom, they can verify the caller's identity by asking questions that an AI recording or an imposter would not be able to answer correctly. Experts also urge people to be more skeptical when they receive urgent requests for money, even when the voice sounds exactly like someone they know. The use of artificial intelligence in criminal activities represents a concerning evolution in how fraud is being perpetrated globally, not just in Nigeria. As these technologies become more sophisticated and accessible, we can expect criminals to find increasingly creative ways to exploit them. This means that public education and awareness about digital security will become more critical than ever. Many Nigerians, particularly older generations, who may not be familiar with AI capabilities, need to understand that what they hear over the phone may not always reflect reality. Now, before we wrap up, if you are finding this information eye-opening and you want to stay informed about developments like this that affect all of us, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss important updates that could help protect you and your family. The National Security Advisor concluded his remarks by calling for what he described as a resuscitation of the population. He emphasized the urgent need for renewed public enlightenment, increased vigilance, and stronger cooperation between citizens and law enforcement agencies. Ribadu made it clear that while the government recognizes the economic difficulties facing Nigerians, there can be no excuse for staging fake kidnappings or aiding real criminal operations. He announced that security agencies are working with technology companies and telecommunications providers to develop systems capable of detecting and flagging suspicious calls that may involve AI-generated voices. The question now is, what happens next? How do we rebuild trust in family relationships when some people have shown they are willing to weaponize that trust for financial gain? How do families verify that distress calls are genuine when technology can perfectly replicate any voice? These are challenges that Nigerian society will need to confront as we move forward. What are your thoughts on this disturbing development? Have you or anyone you know ever received a suspicious call requesting urgent money? Share your experiences in the comment section below and let us know how you think families can protect themselves from this type of sophisticated fraud. Your insights could help someone else avoid falling victim to these heartless schemes.